And well, as anticipated by Giovanna at the very beginning, it's now time to move from theory into practice with our panel of practitioners that we have the pleasure of having with here this afternoon with us. I'm eager to hear about what is going on around Europe when it comes to helping public sector bodies take advantage of innovation for digitizing the public sector. And here we have 4 concrete examples of initiatives which are running across Europe, which we're going to be quickly hearing about this afternoon. And first of all, let me please introduce the panelists that we have the pleasure of having with us today. And I'm going to start with Lars Pearson Scandevel, which since the last 8 years, more or less, he is CEO at Braun Innovation, representing GovTech Sweden, regional ICT cluster and digital innovation hub in Sweden, focusing on twin transition and on GovTech, of course. Hi, Lars. And together with Lars, we also have Kamila Gazinska. She's partnerships lead at GovTech Lab Lithuania within the Lithuanian Innovation Agency. Good afternoon, Kamila. We also have the pleasure of having with us, moving to Greece, Yannis Giannarakis, active in electronic publishing, entrepreneur, active in digital content since many years now. Yannis is the coordinator of the Digital Innovation Hub of the Greek Research and Technology Network, GRNet. And finally, last but not least, we also have with us Lucia Randonea, expert in public innovation. She is GovTech project manager at GOBE in Madrid, Spain. So thanks all for being with us this afternoon. And I would like to go straight into hearing what you're currently doing. What is it your initiative is all about? So I will start with a simple question for everybody. If you could kindly tell us a little bit more about your organization affiliation and what you're concretely doing to support startups, SMEs in their innovation journey together with the public sector. Please just make it kind of an elevator pitch. Try to keep it nice and short. I would say 4 or 5 minutes. And then if it's okay, perhaps we could have some interaction, some questions. Lars, if it's okay, I would start with you. If we can start with Sweden, please, the floor is yours if you want to tell us a little bit more about GovTech Sweden.
Yeah, thank you for letting me have the floor today. It's a fabulous presentation. So much things are happening in GovTech all around Europe and also in Sweden. Before I came the CEO of Braun Innovation and coordinator of the GovTech Sweden, I was actually the mayor of my home city, Sundsvall. And being a mayor, I realized that we couldn't meet the expectations of the citizens, and we could definitely not deliver the digital solutions by doing what we always have done. So we needed to find a new way of dealing with the digital era. And when we realized that GovTech existed, we just fell in love with what GovTech is and the idea of GovTech. GovTech in Sweden, it's not a government. It's a grassroots movement to bring about change. 4 years ago, GovTech didn't exist in Sweden, so we decided to create it. So it is a true grassroots movement. It's built by innovation hubs, policymakers, small, medium-sized companies, public sector representatives, stars like individuals and stars in students and stars in any kind of people that works together with the mission of co-creation for public values. What we do within the ecosystem is that we facilitate, we develop and we support the ecosystem all around Sweden. So you can see GovTech Sweden as a meeting place, an innovator and a co-creator to create and accelerate societal value in true collaboration using tech and using digitalization. Today, GovTech Sweden is spread all over the country. The expression GovTech is becoming more and more used, but to be honest, it is not on everyone's lips today, but it will be in the future. It has been identified in the strategies for smart specialization in some regions, and it is a way of working, as mentioned before, in some of the EDIS that are currently running in Sweden. So it is working, but there are still a lot of road bumps to cross to get GovTech up and running for real. So if I could have the next slide, please, I will just tell you about 3 examples that's happening today in Sweden. And as I said, we are an ecosystem. So all these 3 examples are run by 3 different organizations around Sweden. We are working with accelerators, and one is currently running in my hometown in Sundsvall. It's the Youth Wellness Accelerator, where we invite startups, quite juvenile startups, to work with mental health issues for young peoples, and where we have business development program together with them and working together with 2 of our municipalities in our region. So that is one way of working with accelerators. Another thing, of course, is procurement. And as you all know, there is no limitation in demand, in supply, but there is a limitation in demand. So we need to work on the demand side in something that we call demand acceleration, a methodology for how the public sector can drive innovation and transition with procurement as an instrument by accelerating the demand for sustainable solutions, and to do that in collaboration with startups and SMEs. That is run in another part of Sweden. In Värmland is run by the Digital Well Arena there. And the third example I would like to mention just in 1 minute is how we work with matchmaking. And then we know that public sectors have a limited contact with the startup scene. They don't really meet the high-end technologies, and they don't really work with the new business models. So what Ignite is doing is connecting hand-picked startups with real and prioritized needs within the regions or the municipalities or in the government agencies. And together they find new solutions that can be created and tested in small pilots. So these are 3 hands-on, very concrete ways of working with GovTech, implementing GovTech in Sweden. I know we are running late, so I will stop there and hand over the floor to the next presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lars. But if I may, before moving to our next panelist, a quick question for you, because my eye fell on your previous slide on the fact that actually you're leading also a European Digital Innovation Hub, EDIH, something also Andrea was mentioning in her opening keynote earlier this afternoon. So my question here is, how does this European Digital Innovation Hub, which is basically these EU-powered digital innovation hubs, how does GovTech fit in that picture? How is your completely, I mean, how are GovTech focused services fitting in there? Is there complete overlap? Is it basically the European Digital Innovation Hub, which is going to be 100% GovTech focused? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It will not be 100% GovTech focus, but I think that when the public sector needs, when they want and they need to become more digital, they have to do it together with the startups and together with the SMEs. And the digital innovation hubs and the European digital innovation hubs will prevent so much possibilities to do that, not only in the local or regional or national level, but together in European level. So I think GovTech is a perfect fit for the European Digital Innovation Hubs.
Agreed. Thanks, Lars. Thanks again. And please stay tuned in case there are other questions at the end. And having said so, I would still remain in Northern Europe, but I would move to Lithuania. So Camila, perhaps if you could briefly give us an overview of what is going on in Lithuania and a little bit more about your GovTech initiative.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. Really happy to see so many familiar faces. And so GovTech Lab Lithuania is currently a team of 8 people, and we're set up in 2019. Now we're part of Lithuania's innovation agency, And basically what we are doing is we're helping public sector to identify challenges that can be solved by emerging technologies. And also we help them co-create those solutions with startups and SMEs. And with our activities, we're trying to solve 4 main like puzzles. One is public sector innovation. Second is GovTech startups and SMEs and their like collaboration with public sector, innovative procurement, and also, as I've mentioned, cooperation and co-creation between all the players. And we have a few core activities, like which we can go back a bit. Yeah. So we're helping to solve GovTech challenges, I already mentioned, and I'll explain that a bit further. But we're also working a lot on building local and global GovTech community with organizing events. On May 9th, some of you may already know that on May 9th, we're having a conference in Vilnius, a GovTech Leaders Conference. I'm going to put the links to the chat after my presentation. And on May 10th to 12th, we're inviting every GovTech player in Europe and worldwide to the workshop, to the GovTech gathering here in Vilnius. And also we're working with improving public sector innovation skills. And this June, we're launching official GovTech Academy. Yeah, and if we can move to another slide. But our main activity is helping to solving GovTech challenges, and we're doing that with GovTech Challenge series. And the next slide, I think that we can click to the end. If you click, and there's something wrong with this slide a bit. So how we are doing that? So we're at the beginning, so I was asked to explain how we're working with public sector, how we're supporting startups and SMEs and public procurement, and all of that we're doing with this process. So at the beginning, we're having an open call for public sector problems, and then we're helping public sector to actually look to create the challenge from that problem. And here we're helping them to prepare for innovative procurement at the second stage. So we're transforming the problem into a challenge and preparing for the innovative procurement. And we're using digital design contest method here in Lithuania, which is mainly used in the architecture. Then we are selecting the team and the idea, and with that team and idea, we're going into the structured co-creation program to develop the solution. And here we're like supporting both parts, both public sector and SMEs and startups to co-create the solution, the best solution possible. And then we are having our demo day. And we can go to the next slide. So over last 4 years, we worked with 70 challenges. We had 5 iterations, and now we're preparing for the 6th. And we see that over 70, so we mainly work with pilots, so like we work only with pilot solutions. And we see that from the analysis we've done, we've published early this year, 70% of organizations continue working on the project after the challenge series. And as you can see, 51 different public sector organizations were working with 40 different companies. So we have companies and also public sector institutions who are coming back to us after this process. And one more slide. As I've mentioned, we had over 70 challenges, but I wanted to mention a few case studies, few most interesting case studies for us. So we've worked with Communication Regulatory Authority, which tries to protect internet users, especially children, by automating the identification of prohibited content placed on Lithuanian websites and servers. So they were looking for an way to automatically detect child abuse material, so child pornography. And we had a great cooperation with Lithuanian startup Oxylabs, who prepared the solution pro bono and gave the solution to the authority pro bono. Also worked with one of the municipalities in Lithuania on calculating the damage done by European bisons to the farmers, and automatically calculating what damage was done and how much money the state has to pay for that to the farmers. And also the third case study I wanted to mention is intelligent mental health assistance for relapse prevention for people who end their hospitalization in the mental health facility. I don't know if you know, around 70% of patients are coming back to the hospitals after they're like released, because they forget to take medicine, they forget to go to the therapy. So we've worked on an app which helps to communicate the communication between the doctor and the patients. So yeah, so the relapse are prevented. So thank you for your for attention.
No, thank you very much, Camila, for the interesting insight also on what's going on in Lithuania. I see there's also a specific question from you from the audience, which is basically related to the identification of stakeholders. How do you do it? How do you find the right people to get involved in your local ecosystem? And if I may, on my side, if I also may add another question, comment on top, you mentioned something very relevant before. A number, 70%, 70% of organizations continue to work on the project after the challenge series. So basically after the support, the concrete help is over. I think that's a great number. That's a great result. Tell us your secret. How do you do it?
I think that our team is very involved in all the projects, and we are very, like, we divide our projects who's responsible for which team by our interests. So we're also supporting as much as possible, we're supporting the institutions after the work is done. We also try to, Lithuania is not that big of a country. So as I mentioned, some institutions are coming back to the second iteration, so we have constant contact with different institutions, and we're trying to support them, invite them to our events. We're to some workshops, and I think that this number is because of that, because of all the support we are giving during the program and after that. And regarding the stakeholders, we are trying to speak about GovTech as much as possible. We also have a very big political support now, but we are going on road trips to the municipalities. We're talking with everyone, every single institution in Lithuania has heard about GovTech. And this is what we are trying to maintain, that everyone knows that we have a call. And even before that, they are already thinking about the challenges they have.
Thank you very much, Camila, for this. And perhaps from Northern Europe, I would virtually fly down to Southern Europe and move to Greece. Yannis, if I could invite also you to very quickly give us some insights on...
Thank you.
Please, floor is yours.
Thank you for this very interesting webinar and the invitation to be with you here. Our initiative, the Greek Innovation Hub for Public Services, GR-DigiGov InnoHub, is led by GRNet, which more than 20 years served the academia research community with a new generation of digital services. And in the past years, and especially in the period of the pandemic, it acted as the executive arm of the Greek Ministry of Digital Governance in order to facilitate the creation of a new generation of services that currently are more than 1,000 served via the main Greek portal, the government portal Gov2GR. GR-DigiGov InnoHub is a digital innovation hub in the program of the European Digital Innovation Hubs in the Digital Europe program. We have started our activities this year, from the beginning of this year, and our objective is to support the development of a new generation of public services utilizing advanced digital technologies and also open standards and open source solutions. In order to do this, we have to enrich the ecosystem of digital transformation actors, bringing into the game more SMEs and more young people skills from them, universities and academia in general, and also advancing those skills with the support of our partners, which are already part of this ecosystem and this and the initiatives of those past 4 years. One important aspect is to foster innovation in the public administration by bringing the public innovation procurement concept and the pre-commercial procurement into effective use in our country. This is a priority all around Europe, as the governments are the main clients of the digital industry in all countries, and getting a part of the public budget for digital services as an investment in the innovation for new services, it will be a great catalyst for change and advancing and accelerating the use of new modern technologies in the public sector. Also, in order to be effective in this activity, we have to network and to exchange knowledge and information with all our friends and colleagues and similar activities all around Europe and all around the world. And so being with you here, it's one important step in this direction. And of course, we see it under the endorsing the principles of open governance and in general, the open principles as you do. We could go to the next slide, please. We are already part of many international activities in the GovTech sector. It was already mentioned that we are part of the GovTech for All initiative, the Pan-European GovTech Incubator, and we are very proud being with other partners in this, and most of them are here also. Also, we are part of the GovTech Alliance, and thanks also to Camila, I would say, for introducing us this important international activity. And also we have formed a corridor for public services together with other innovation hubs, EDIH, mainly in Southern Europe, but it's expanding also all around Europe. We are also part of the World Bank initiatives for the GovTech Global Partnership, and has already started the first group on mobile services and the fostering mobile technologies in the government sector. A very important initiative, which the first result of it was how to a booklet, a handbook for introducing a new concept of mobile technologies to the public sector. I wouldn't say more today. I believe that we have a lot to do and a lot to discuss in the next workshops and next initiatives. And again, I thank you very much for the invitation, and we are open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yannis, and for sure we'll be in contact across further events and in future occasions. But if I may, one very quick comment also for you, and I'm looking at this slide that you just shared with us. So many international initiatives you are involved in. Well, what is really working better when it comes to international cooperation and exchanges? What are the true best things that you actually hear and see when you're cooperating with other initiatives internationally, and that then you are able to deliver and to have an impact when you're supporting public administration and companies in Greece? What are the things we should be more attentive of, careful of, when it comes to international transnational cooperation?
First is not doing the same effort twice and 3 times. Sharing knowledge about the successes. More, I would say, sharing knowledge about the failures and the areas that some projects have failed. And also interoperability and cross-border cooperation. It's #1 priority, I believe, for all of us, and for you also, to share this knowledge and make services that are truly interoperable and multi-country.
Once again, thanks, Yannis. And well, now I would say let's move on to our fourth and final panelist, Lucia. Could you kindly tell us how GOVE is supporting GovTech and what it is all about?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I know that I'm the last, so please don't lose me. Thank you very much for the invitation and a pleasure to be here. As you mentioned, I'm part of GOVE, the first GovTech studio in Spain. And we are coordinating different GovTech labs in Europe and Latin America. And now I will explain the GovTech Lab Madrid. So this lab aims to bring the innovation generated by startups, scale-ups, and digital SMEs closer to the challenges of Madrid's public institutions. It's an initiative from the Madrid Plus D Foundation from the regional government of Madrid. And we are coordinated as GOVE in collaboration with Prodigioso Volcán and a communication agency, because communication is something that we really aim to strengthen in these kind of projects. So the focus of this project also is to revitalize the GovTech ecosystem in the region, and we aim to create spaces in which municipalities share their experiences about GovTech. So we have like 2 years of project, and we are going to run 10 challenges. And we will identify, pilot, and scaling these new solutions. So next, please. Thank you. So how we structure our work. So GovTech Madrid has 4 key components. The first one is the lab, of course, the challenge lab, where we identify innovative solutions with the public administration with an open innovation methodology. And we define the challenge together with the public administration, with the municipalities, and we test and evaluate the solutions to understand their potential of scaling. Then we have the GovTech Academy, that so we give tools and skills to public administrations, but also for startups to work together. But because we understand that we understood at least that we have to give skills and knowledge in methodology to public administrations, but also we have to strengthen and give skills for working together for startups, right? So we organize boot camps, for example, especially for local ones, in order to start working better with institutions. Other thing that another key component is open access. We believe in collaboration, synergies, and clear and direct communications. And for that reason, all the results and lessons learned and are disseminated and publicly to help others to develop new solutions and challenges. The last one is the innovation ecosystem. We reinforce and revitalize the GovTech ecosystem in Madrid and foster its internationalization, because we believe that this is there is a lot of labs, as we saw in this webinar, and the best way of strengthening is creating these ways and channels of collaboration and mutual learning. So the next one. Thank you. So what is the value of all this? What we realized from previous experiences is that if we want to have real impact in public institutions, we had to strengthen the GovTech ecosystem in each municipality. So what does it mean, right? So we created skills for innovative public procurement. That is something that we heard a lot in this webinar. Also, we developed a strong GovTech ecosystem, and we push the boundaries for entrepreneurial public procurement. So this is a summary, a little bit of this graph here that I won't explain because I don't have time. But so now I'm going to tell you the key activities that we are doing to strengthen this this ecosystem. So what we are doing is we promote this GovTech ecosystem in the region of Madrid. So, for example, we create spaces where different actors of GovTech can meet. For example, in this picture that you're seeing here, we brought together in an event the relevant actors of Madrid, for example, municipalities, startups, investors, big companies such as Microsoft, Amazon, Visa, and to find some collaboration and synergies between them. We also do a lot of effort in promoting the entrepreneurial ecosystem with bootcamps and for startups to facilitating the work with public administrations and demo days with investor and B2G events. And the last thing that I want to stress is that maybe the most differential aspect of this project is that we work with the smallest municipalities of Madrid region. And this is something that Carlos Santizo, yeah, I thought that, yeah, thank you. Sorry, Carlos. Like mentioned that sometimes like small municipalities or small like local municipalities don't have much opportunities to develop their GovTech ecosystem. So one of the things that we do is to try to work with them, we are working with them because sometimes they don't have like the resources or the people to run this or manage this thing. So as we could check in these previous editions and what we are seeing now is that technology and GovTech and all these new innovative solutions of startups can promote better public services delivery, especially in local service delivery. And we are strengthening and we are working on that at the moment. So keep it posted because we are going to publish a lot of more things when, sometimes. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you very much, Lucia, for this this intervention. Very interesting. And to everybody, before also asking to Lucia something that came up to my mind, I would kindly invite you to bear with us still for 10 minutes because we want to have the chance to give you a final wrap up and some next steps before saying goodbye to everybody. But getting back to Lucia, I saw that little graph that you showed basically representing the value. And it was interesting because it was somehow similar also to what we saw at the very beginning that also Carlos was sharing. And at the heart of everything, I saw that there was the support and the role of public procurement, but basically connecting, the public sector with the innovation coming up from the companies. So here, my question for you is, how are you making public procurement more easy for public sector bodies in Spain, and especially in the local communities in the Madrid region? What is what is your recipe here?
Okay, well, recipe, I don't know, but like testing, everything is experiment here. But what we're doing is creating these use cases in which we understand if some technology can help, and then we give support to public administrations to because what happened in Spain is that we have like a procurement contract, like a procurement law, but what we don't have is many guides for public administrators to play in a very nice way, right? So what they are doing is just to replicate all like the same procurement all over again. So what we are doing is just to support them to give more strength in the criteria in which we can have like an open and a competitive market for those startups that wants to get in also in this competition, right?
Thanks, Lucia. And this is a question for you, but for all the panelists. I picked up something that George Lobo was writing in the chat, and it's for everybody and very interesting. It's about open source. Does open source play any kind of role in your respective initiatives? Who wants to go for it? Lars, want to go first?
Well, it does definitely. I mean, open source, open data, and open APIs are really important, crucial. But it's not so easy to work with open source. Of course, you need to find a business model for it, and you need to have quality assurance and so on. But open source together with an interoperability that we talked about before is a really interesting combination.
And thanks, Lars. And I see also Yannis with your virtual hand up.
We think that using open source and open technologies and open data is #1 priority, and the only way to go far into the GovTech services and utilizing current technologies, and especially artificial intelligence, which has to be open to society and open to all the regulations. So without having open source, we cannot mobilize, and we cannot get into a cooperative and co-creation play with all the creative minds, the innovators that we have in Europe. It's a matter of principle, we believe, and it's a matter of efficiency also.
Thanks, Yannis. Yeah, I agree. And Camila, Lucia, anything to add about open source?
Well, I can answer that very quickly, that I agree with you both, and I think that this is kind of the key for replication, right, and scalability. So, and that's my point.
Thank you, Lucia, and thank you, really, everybody, all your panelists, for your time this afternoon. I'm sorry for cutting it short, but we really went a little bit long on our foreseen agenda. But really, a huge thank you, Lars, Camila, Yannis, Lucia, for being with us this afternoon. And as we already anticipated, and as Giovanna already said at the beginning, to whom I'm going to be giving back now the floor for a final wrap-up, we're going to be more than happy to have you again throughout these 2 years of duration of our GovTech Connect project. So stay tuned also on your side, and big thank you for being with us this afternoon. Giovanna, happy to give it back to you for our final wrap-up. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks to all, to the Commission, to the OECD, to the speakers from our consortium, and to the speakers of the panel. I would like to give you some final messages and also next step. My first message is that we see that there is a lot of interest about this topic and about the project. As Sarah said, our LinkedIn is address is we have already a very good number of followers, but consider that the bulk of our community will be the Join Up platform. And on Join Up, really we will publish everything that will happen during the project, everything we let's say events, everything that we produce. But it's very important that the Join Up become the community of this platform. And don't wait us to publish content, but also suggest content. So it's really important, for example, that this example that we have seen, these experiences are published on Join Up. Or for example, if you have if you want also further disseminate events that you organize, or contest, please do so. Simply as for example our friend from Tiago from the GovTech Justice case, that for sure we will present also in other events, have published one first initiative is our first ambassador on Join Up platform. So become become a member of the platform and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Of course, these are instruments that help us to be very quick. But if you want to really find the content, go on Join Up. Our next, consider that we have not told a lot about the survey, because we have also already launched and disseminated it also in other events, but we have still open a survey for the staff, which is important for us. It's to collect information about how startups work with the public sector, and it's important for the definition of the curricula, of the training materials and the boot camps. So if you, it will be open until May the 5th. So if you want to, it would be great if you could further share this link. I know that the startups are not happy anymore to fill in surveys. For the ones involved in the European Digital Innovation Hub services, they will need to do very long questionnaires, but this is a very short one for us to have input for the training, and we will deliver. Of course, help us to spread the word to startups and SMEs on our bootcamp opportunities. For these first two bootcamps, the one in the northern regions and one in the southern regions. And most of all, disseminate and participate to the Q&A online info session on the bootcamps next 20 April and 25th of April, because there will be more time to explain and focus on the bootcamp. So thanks a lot to you all, and also for your patience and to stay with us until now. Thanks a lot, and keep in touch, and see you next time. Thank you.